All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome everyone to our third and final installment of the Family Kahoot competition. A couple of familiar names here, a couple of rivalries perhaps from the past 2 weeks. Um, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into the first question. Just a final check. I think, yep, the families in, okay, there's 5 families in the Zoom call, 5 families in the Kahoot. Everyone said they're good to go. We're going to go ahead and get started, inshallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. This is based on episodes 11 through 15, which had a theme of famous scientists or and Islamic history. Question 1. This city was the capital of the Umayyad kingdom in Andalusia. Very good. The correct answer is Cordoba. All right. 14, very similar scores. Still plenty of questions to go. The name Andalusia likely comes from a phrase meaning the land of the blank. Very good, very good. The Vandals were a Germanic people, I believe is what Mrs. Tammy said. Um, and yeah, that name sort of morphed into Andalusia, and that was the term that the Arabs at the time used to describe that Iberian Peninsula. All right, we've got 2 teams with perfect scores so far. Again, still plenty of questions to go. Question 3. The history of Andalusia was born out of conflict between these 2 Muslim dynasties. Very good. Correct answer is the Umayyads and the Abbasids. All right, every team got that question right. Let's keep it moving. Question 4. Which Umayyad leader overthrew Andalusia with an army of mercenaries? A couple of similar answer choices here. Read them carefully. Very good. The correct answer is Abdurrahman the First. And then he also defended the city when the Abbasids kind of tried to come in and take over. He had by that time gathered a large army and was able to defend them. And then he even humiliated the enemies, their generals by mutilating them and essentially trying to show that okay, we're here to stay, sort of. And after that, the Abbasids didn't attack them. Very good. Most teams got that right again. Still 2 teams with perfect scores. Wow. Question 5. What were some achievements during the Golden Age in Andalusia? I think there's a couple extra seconds on this one to read all the choices. Very good. The schools and hospitals were established, learning and knowledge flourished, and again, these were just some of the achievements during the Golden Age in Andalusia. Seems like everyone watched the episode 11. Question 6. This Umayyad ruler ruled for 50 years during the Golden Age in Andalusia. Ooh, nice. Okay. The correct answer is Abdurrahman the Third. I believe was sort of in the same family as Abdurrahman the First. Okay, let's keep it moving. Question 7. Gerbert of Aurillac, a French scholar who later became Pope Sylvester II, traveled to Cordoba to gather blank. Very good, very good. He was someone who was a scholar, he was into learning. And even though he had access to some of the greatest libraries in the world, he traveled specifically to Cordoba to gain access to the knowledge and the books that they have there. Alrighty, 5 teams, still anyone's game at this point. Question 8. The decline of Muslim Spain happened as a result of blank. Very good. A civil war was happening between the Muslim factions, and this was one of the points that Ms. Sami concluded with. While we can take great pride in what the Muslims in Spain accomplished during the golden age of Andalusia, we should also recognize and perhaps take lessons from some of the issues that led to their downfall in terms of greed and things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warn us against. Very good. Alrighty, every team got that right. Team Muhammad family having a slight lead due to answering a bit faster. Question 9. Ibn Khaldun came from a family that lived in blank. Ooh, a couple guesses here for Baghdad, but the correct answer, yes, was Andalusia or Andalus. Oh, and just like that, the Comers and Ichman, the only two teams so far with answering every question correctly. Again, still plenty of questions to go. Anyone's game at this point. Question 10. Ibn Khaldun lived in a time where Muslims were driven out of Spain. True or false? Very good. The correct answer is false. Ibn Khaldun lived about, I believe it was 100 years before the conflict started and the Muslims were being driven out of Spain. All right, let's check the leaderboard. Ichman now the only team with the perfect score, but again, still plenty of questions to go. Most teams are answering the questions correctly, so it's great stuff. Let's keep it going. Question 11. Ibn Khaldun's famous book is known as Al-Muqaddimah. Very good. I believe Dr. Abu Zaid even said the Al-Muqaddimah is known as an introduction to world history, and Al-Muqaddimah literally means introduction. Um, so yeah, and this book, it didn't just cover world history, it covered a lot of different things, but it kind of took the name as Al-Muqaddimah, even though that kind of just literally means introduction. But that's what it famously became known as. All right, still very close scores. Ichman seems to be edging out the Comers and Al team, so getting a little bit of payback perhaps for the past two competitions. Question 12. Ibn Khaldun had an ijaza certification in many Islamic sciences. Very good. Ibn Khaldun was a scholar and he had an ijaza in many of the Islamic sciences. And this was something very clearly mentioned. And an ijaza, it's like similar to a degree in sort of that we get in university. It's something, it's not easy to get. So mashallah, he had an ijaza in many different sciences, right? All teams got that right. Still a close race for the podium and the top spot. Question 13. Ibn Khaldun traveled all over the world, interacting with dynasties, kings, and caliphs. True or false? Yes, the correct answer is true. And Dr. Abu Zaid even said like you can make a movie from Ibn Khaldun's life. That's how interesting and adventurous and perhaps fulfilling it was. All right, let's take a look at the leaderboard. Ooh, and there's slight change. The Ichman was the only team that got that wrong. And just like that, the scores are very, very close. Still anyone's game. Question 14. In Egypt, Ibn Khaldun was the chief judge of the blank school. Excellent, excellent. This was something mentioned clearly in the video, and Ibn Khaldun was the chief judge of the Maliki school. Right. I just wanted to point out because there are only five teams, perhaps that you earn more points the faster you lock in. So perhaps teamwork and speed when answering might be the difference today. Just to keep them at the same time, though, you don't want to hastily answer and then end up picking the wrong choice. So it's you have to find that right balance and have that good teamwork within the family. Question 15. When he was 17, Ibn Khaldun lost both his parents to the blank. Very good. The correct answer is the Black Death, also known as the Black Plague. Um, and it's important to know he lost his parents when he was 17, so it could have perhaps been a very traumatic or difficult experience, but he was still able to persevere and make the most out of his life and become the very famous person we know him today as. All right. Still a close race in the top five. Question 16. Ibn Sina was known in Europe as blank. Very good, very good. It's sort of he was known in Europe as Avicenna. Right, slight change again. All the teams got it right, but due to answering faster, perhaps, Muhammad family is now past Ichman. Still a close race. Question 17. Where did Ibn Sina originate from? Very good. Most teams got it right. The correct answer is Uzbekistan. All right. Score is still pretty close. Still anyone's game at this point. Question 18. Ibn Sina started studying medicine when he was blank and practicing at blank. These are referring to ages. Very good. It was clearly mentioned that he started studying medicine at 16 and he started practicing at 18, which nowadays would probably be impossible. Um, Alrighty. Most teams still answering the questions correctly. It's very good. And the scores are still very close. Still anyone's game at this point. We're almost halfway through. Question 19. It was reported that Ibn Sina wrote blank volumes of books, blank number of volumes of books. Very good. The correct answer is 450. I believe it was also mentioned that 250 or so of his books are sort of preserved today, but in terms of the number of volumes that he wrote, the correct answer was 450. Alrighty. Top three seems to be developing a slight gap. Let's see if one of the teams can break away. Question 20. Ibn Sina's most important book was the, very good, the correct answer is the Canon of Medicine. I kind of threw Book of Canons in there to see if it would trick anyone. Apparently it did. It's okay though. Let's keep it moving. Alrighty. Top three still very, very close. It's just the speed of the answering that's separating them. They all got the same number of questions correct. Question 21. Ibn Sina's book, The Canon of Medicine, was used as a textbook in blank universities until the 7th century. Very good, very good. And keep in mind, Ibn Sina, he lived, I forget the year, but I believe it was around 990 or so. So his book was literally used for over 500, 600 years as the core textbook in European universities. So that's a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. All right, still very close. Let's keep it moving. Question 22. Ibn Sina's work on Islamic philosophy was entirely accepted by all scholars. True or false? Very good. The correct answer is false. The speaker made it very clear to say that while Ibn Sina's work in so many different fields was great, his work on Islamic philosophy is controversial, and there are many sort of great scholars that actually spoke out against his work. That being said, we know that he was a devout Muslim, and we ask Allah, to accept him, and if he made any mistakes, to forgive them. I mean, all right. Moving along again, still very, very close. The Qamar is just on top due to answering a bit faster, perhaps, than the other teams. Question 23. We have a lot of historical details on the personal life of Al-Khawarizmi. True or false? Good. The correct answer is false. We actually don't know much about his personal life or upbringing or things like that. Most of the stuff we know about him, it comes from his works and the books that he wrote. All right. Seems like every team is answering very, very quickly, so not much change in the scoreboard. Question 24. Al-Khwarizmi was born in a small town near the city of, all right, most teams got this one right. The correct answer is Baghdad. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. All right, top four, still competing for the podium spot. The Qamars and Mohammed family and Ishman, all very close scores. Akhuga right behind. Musa's team still in it, still plenty of questions to go. Question 25. What field of study was Al-Khwarizmi most famously accomplished in? Very good. The correct answer is algebra. I forget the full name of the book, but part of it was Al-Jabr, and that's actually where the term algebra comes from. All right, all teams answering that one relatively quickly. Let's keep it moving. Question 26. Al-Khwarizmi lived during the blank dynasty. Ooh, everyone got it. Correct answer is the Abbasid dynasty. Took a couple of seconds for some teams, but everyone ended up getting it. All right, and just like that, Mohammed family overtakes the Qamars for the first place spot. Interesting developments as we go into question 27. Al-Khwarizmi did not think of the practical benefits of his work. Ooh, a couple of splits here. The key word here is that did not think. So that would actually be false because Al-Khwarizmi, he did in fact think of the practical benefits of his work. And even in his work, he would, for example, in his work on math, he would discuss problems of Islamic inheritance. And so there were practical applications of his work. He wasn't just purely describing, how to balance equations, but it was how to use them, in real life practical matters. So the correct answer is false. Just like that, the Qamar is back on top. Mohammed, Ichman, and Al Khuga team all fighting for second, third, that second place spot. Musa's team still doing very well. Let's keep it moving. Question 28. True or false? Al-Khwarizmi's writings included praise for Allah and sending salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Very good. The correct answer is true. It was specifically mentioned that in his introductions, Al-Khwarizmi would include praise for Allah and sending salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alrighty, let's keep it moving. Question 29. The Arabic numerals were originally adopted from the pre-Islamic numerals, the pre-Islamic blank numerals. Very good, very good. The correct answer is the Hindu numerals. All right, still not much change in the leaderboard. Every team's doing very, very well. Excellent job, guys. Question 30. This word is derived from Al-Khwarizmi's name. Very good, very good. The correct answer is algorithm. All right, every team answering that very quickly. Great job. Let's keep it moving. Last 10 questions. Ibn al-Haytham is known in the West as. Ooh, a couple of guesses here, but the correct answer is Al-Hazan. And this is actually a slight change in his first name, which was Al-Hasan. So instead of Al-Hasan, they would call him, or Hassan, they would say Al-Hazan. All right, let's keep it moving. Ooh, change in the top three, Ichman and Al-Khuga, passing the Muhammad family. Still 9 questions to go. Still anyone's game at this point. Let's keep it moving. Question 32. Ibn al-Haytham was born in which city? Very good. The correct answer is Basra. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. All right, top 5 staying pretty constant. The Qamar is still just on top. Still anyone's game. As we go into question 33, Ibn al-Haytham is most famous for his work in the field of. Very good, very good. He's most famous for his work in the field of physics and specifically optics. Right? No changes in the leaderboard. Still very, very close. It's anyone's game at this point. True or false? Ibn al-Haytham is considered the first modern scientist. Very good. The correct answer is true. And as Dr. Ahmed was explaining, what this means specifically was he was one of the first, if not the first, to employ what we know today as the scientific method. So making observations, performing experiments, and then analyzing the results of those experiments. That was something that was very clearly done in his work, as opposed to scientists before him. All right. Qamar still holding on to their top spot, literally by 65 points. Let's see if Ichman and Al Khuga team and Mohammed team and Musa's team as well. Let's see if they can do something about that. Going into the last 5 or 6 questions, Ibn al-Haytham was placed under house arrest in Egypt for blank number of years. Very good. Most teams got this one right. The correct answer is 10. All right, top 4 staying pretty constant. Let's see if the Qamars can hold their top spot as we go into the last 5 questions. Ibn al-Haytham's work while under house arrest provided the basis for modern blank. Excellent, excellent. The correct answer is photography. He was famous for his work in optics, and his sort of experiments paved the way for understanding, how light and how the eye works, and essentially provided the basis for cameras and photography as we know it today. All right, still staying pretty constant. Not many questions to go. Let's see if the comers can hold their spot. Question 37. Ibn al-Haytham's most famous book is known as the... Very good. Correct answer is the Book of Optics. Forget the Arabic name. I believe it was Al-Manazir, but I'm not sure. Um, and just like that, the top three shaking up a bit. Al-Khuga team and Muhammad team passing by Ichman as we go into the last few questions. The Qamar still holding their top spot. Let's see if they can hold on to it and win their second Kahoot competition of the series. Question 38. Ibn Sina and Ibn al-Haytham were considered polymaths. A polymath is a person who... Very good. The correct answer is has vast knowledge in many different subjects, and usually what it also implies is they're able to take what they call an interdisciplinary approach. So they combine their understanding of the different subjects and make sort of new discoveries through their sort of deep understanding for the many different fields. And typically they'll also have a lot of written works in the various fields. All right, let's keep it moving. Top four, top five still staying pretty constant. The Comer is still holding on to that top spot. Question 39. Which of the following scholars theorized that there is a landmass to the west of the Atlantic Ocean? Very good. The correct answer is Al-Khawarizmi. This was something that was mentioned in his episode. I apologize for that. Accidentally double-clicked. Question 40. Islam and science are contradictory. I apologize for skipping the leaderboard. That was probably an important time to see it. And yes, the correct answer is false here. Islam and science are not contradictory. As Muslims, we know that Islam provides a certainty in the knowledge, right? The revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And science, yes, while we make conclusions based on observations, we can never be certain in these sort of claims that science makes. And that's the whole idea with science, is that whatever knowledge that we have right now, it's potentially falsifiable, and that we can make new observations in the future to expand upon our understanding. Very good. And this was sort of the understanding that the scholars that we discuss use to sort of have their great sort of what's it called? Their great works in the various fields of science that they ended up studying and making great observations and findings in. Very good. All right, so let's take a look at the top three. In third place, we had Ichman with 37 out of 40 questions correct. In second place, we had the Muhammad family. And in first place, we had the Plumbers with just one question more than the second and third place team. In fourth place, we had the Khuba team, and fifth place, we had Musa's team. Once again, congratulations to all the participants. The main purpose of this competition is for it to be a fun family learning experience. We hope that you all, again, this was the final of three, I guess, installments of the series this Ramadan. We hope that you all benefited. We ask Allah to bless the speakers, specifically Dr. Ahmed and Sheikh Ashur as the heads of the ISCJ Lit program and the ISCJ Quran Academy. Once again, we're kindly asking everyone to fill out the survey that was sent via email and also in the chat. I can send it here one more time. And yeah, if you do have any questions or suggestions or feedback, that would be the form to use. Once again, Jazakallah khair for all the participants. We'll conclude with Surah Al-Asr. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر جزاكم الله خير السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته